Hey everybody, welcome back to the Red Zone. I'm Zane Smith, and today we're going to go over our chipping session. So whenever we're chipping, right, I've got a pitching wedge here. We can use really any club for chipping, okay? Whenever I'm chipping though, I'm going to try and think of it kind of like I'm starting it from this end of the grip, and I'm going to this end of the club, and I'm trying to only fly it about this far and having it roll this far, right? Whereas with a pitch, it's going to be the opposite. I'm going to fly it further, and then it's going to roll a lot less. So on this shot, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it to roll. Once it hits the green, I'm going to try to land it really short on the green and let it roll out to the hole. So let's go over some key things that cause us to hit poor chip shots. Number one is going to be how you hit a chip shot. So whenever you're swinging, generally speaking, people will tend to lift. They'll try to help it to the target, and that's generally a bad idea. We want to make sure with chipping that we're hitting more down, right? And that's going to cause the ball to hit more in the center of the face rather than low on the face, okay? The other misconception is lifting up can actually have you cause to hit you chunks, right? It actually causes you to hit chunks because then you're hitting back here behind the ball because you're going beneath the ball and then coming up to the ball, right? Only problem with that is ball's on the ground, so there's no going underneath the ball to get up and hit the ball upward, right? So I've got to make sure that I have a negative attack angle whenever I'm chipping. Okay, I can't be sweeping the ball. All right. The next big thing that's a problem is grain. A lot of people don't really understand it, right? But the way grass works, especially Bermuda grass, is it lays on itself. So if you get grass like this, like Bermuda, it's going to lay in a certain direction. Now it's fortunate for us that this is actually a tough shot because if I look here, I'm going against the grain. You can see the club getting grabbed by the grass. Okay, so whenever I'm setting up for this, I want to try and set up in a way that's going to help me get through the grain for that club to slide nicely on the ground. Okay, so what I like to say is I like to get that shaft a little more upright. Okay, because if I take a look at the face, everybody, I hope you have a club at home, but what I would take a look at is I would take a look at the leading edge. And I want you to see which side of the leading edge is softer. Is it the toe side or the heel side? Most often it's going to be the heel side. So if I get the heel touching the ground, right, it's going to be much more likely to catch the grass versus if I get the toe touching the ground, it's going to slide a lot easier, okay? So whenever I set up to get that steep shaft angle, I'm going to choke up on it a lot, okay? I'm going to choke up on it a lot. So now that toe is down, and now it's sliding. You can see that. I'm still hitting down. I'm still hitting down into the ball, but now it's sliding. So now I'm going to get a lot cleaner shot, okay? So whenever you're doing this, make sure you're practicing those two things. I've got to get that shaft up, okay? And I've got to make sure I'm hitting down onto the ball. Last thing is we've got to make sure that we can make consistent contact with the ground, making sure we're not hitting all over the place. We want a single point that's the bottom of this swing, right? It can't keep changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the weight in a spot, let's say underneath my left leg, and I'm going to keep it there. So I'm going to keep it there. I got the steep shaft angle. I've got my weight in one spot, and now I'm just going to make sure I pop down onto the ball, right? And you can see how that ball just releases and rolls right to the hole. Okay, so let's try that 2 more times. Same thing right here. Get the shaft up. Make sure I've got my weight on my left side. And again, down on the ball. Oh, that's real good. Actually aimed that one right that time. Okay, so keep working on it, right? And what I would do is play a little game with yourself. We talked about this with the putting. Always try and play games. So if I'm doing this, I'm trying to knock it. Each of the 4 of these, I'm trying to knock it within a club length. Let's say this club, right? A pitching wedge. Trying to knock them all within a club length. And if I fail, I'll just start over and try again until I can get all 4 of them resting within that club length. Okay? All right. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for joining the Red Zone, and thank you for watching this video.